Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Today, I want to talk to you briefly about BetterHelp. I am happy to announce that BetterHelp is a sponsor of this podcast. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional counselor. Listen, this is not a crisis line, nor is it self help, but it is professional counseling done securely online from the comfort of your own home. This service is available for clients worldwide, and you can even express your desire for a Christian therapist. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor and receive timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great matches, and they make it super easy to change counselors if needed. It is very affordable and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living your life happier today. So feel free to visit betterhelp.com to read testimonials. That's better, Help, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. I have great news for you. Because you are a listener of this podcast, Empowered to Empower You, you get 10% off your first month. That's right. You get 10% off your first month, but you have to visit the link at https:// better help, HELP.com/Bewindi. I'll make sure to put this in the show notes. Okay, let's get to the show. Well, good afternoon, good night, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Empower to Empower You podcast. I'm so glad you decided to join the podcast today. I hope that you're doing well, that you're feeling encouraged today. And if you're not feeling encouraged, I hope that by the end of this episode, you will feel encouraged. If you've been following me since January 2020, thank you so much for your continued support. I know that these episodes have added so much value to you, and I hope that you've been sharing away. If you have not taken the time to rate or review the podcast, please do that. That helps other people to find it. If this is your first time joining, welcome. Empowered to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, or anything to help you become the better version. And I want that for you, and I know you want that for you too. Last episode was episode number 85 on divine protection. I know that was a blessing for you. And today I want to welcome you to episode number 86. And guess what, y'all? I have an amazing dynamic guest today. So I want to introduce to you Miss Stacey Stewart. Miss Stacey Stewart is a California native with family from Mississippi. She's been living in Memphis for 12 years. She is a military retiree with a passion for fitness and wellness. She was a certified fitness leader and kickboxing instructor during her time in the Navy. Since retiring in 2016, she has continued her wellness journey by adding meditation and detoxification to her routine. In the past, Ms. Stacey has suffered from issues like constipation, and she found colonics to be the answers to her prayers, to her situation as well. She was taking medications for pain in her back and knees, and one of the side effects was constipation. I mean, there were days, almost a whole week, without eliminating a bowel, and she had to undergo a colonoscopy. Y'all, I'm from St. Lucia. I probably did not say that right. And testing, colonoscopy, that's the word, and testing just before her doctor to tell her that it was a side effect. She started using essential oils for pain management, and she started using herbal supplements to further enhance her health in things such as juicing. I love juicing, y'all, and organic foods. She found that her body responds better to natural herbs and supplements, and that's when she started using a holistic approach to healing. It's so important, Ms. Stacey says, to take care of your mind and body. Ms. Stacey also believes that our health and wellness is our individual responsibility. I love that. It's not up to the government. It's not up to other people. It's our own responsibility to take care of our health and wellness. And she also believes that being proactive or reactive is up to us. She also says that you can either prevent illnesses by taking care of your health and well-being with limiting your intake of sugar and processed foods and detoxing, or you can treat illnesses by doing the opposite. Well, y'all, I want to welcome you to episode number 86 as we talk about basically all things wellness, but she's definitely going to talk a lot about colonics. So I want to welcome you, and hydrotherapy. She's going to correct me for sure, but I want to welcome Miss Stacey Stewart to Empower to Empower You podcast. Hey, Stacey.
Hey, hello, Miss B.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, ma'am. It is such a pleasure to have you here. I enjoy reading your bio for
Thank
sure. I'm
you.
so glad. I was telling you before the show started. I was telling you that I'm so glad that I got to meet you. I don't even know if
Yeah.
anybody referred me to you. I don't even know. I think we were just Googling and, and we found you. I'm saying my best friend and I, we found you and we had such a wonderful experience. Best
Exactly. I remember.
Yes, best friend came all the way from Brandon, Mississippi.
Yes.
First colonic. So tell us more about how you got into wellness.
Okay. Well, that's funny you asked me that because I think about it a lot, and a lot of people ask me, and it's funny because I feel like my whole life I've always had an interest in health and wellness. As a child, I didn't eat the traditional things that most people in my family was eating, like chitlins and pig feet and things like that. Like I just wouldn't eat stuff like that.
Mhm.
I stopped eating pork when I was 16 years old,
Wow.
which was really tough because my entire family, my mom is from Mississippi, so pork is her meat. so
Wow.
so for me to stop eating pork, in high school, and it was just because I had did research on what, pork did to the body as far as having a lot of sodium and causing hypertension. So I just always had an interest in health. And I feel like I did start at an early age, just kind of, eliminating foods that weren't good. And it's funny because I stopped eating pork just because I knew it was bad. However, my grandmother, she did make the best ham. So I remember, I joined the military at the age of 18. I left home. I went off and, I had stopped eating pork by the age of 16. So I'm back home. I'm 21 years old. I'm visiting for one of the holidays. I believe it was Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And my grandmother had made that famous holiday ham that I did love as a kid. So,
Mm.
I was like, well, I really don't eat pork, but I'm gonna taste a little bit of grandma's ham because I ain't had it in years.
Right, right, right.
When I tell you, Miss Bewindi, I probably had that meat in my mouth for 20 seconds. When I swallowed it, massive headache,
Really?
vomit. Yeah. So like I developed an intolerance to it, obviously, from not eating it for so many years. But I was like sick. I had to go to the hospital. Like they had to rush me to the hospital. I felt like I was going to die. My head was pounding like it was going to explode. I couldn't stop vomiting. And, so again, I was like, wow, that's crazy that, what that did to me. So I just started paying attention to foods that didn't agree with me. And I just kind of started taking, my health a little bit more serious. And then, as you read in my bio,
Mhm.
I've always had issues with my digestion, and I feel like I got that inherited to me by my grandmother. She died of colon cancer when I was 3 years old, and all of her sisters have colon issues. So for me to only be pooping once or twice a week, I knew that probably wasn't the best. So, I started eating healthy, doing colonics and stuff like that in my early 20s. I'm almost 50. So I started doing that really, really early in life because I just knew that it would probably save my life because my grandmother died when she was 38 years old of colon cancer. So I knew that I had to do something. And of course, just being so young and I started taking my health seriously at a young age, it wasn't hard for me to just make changes and start, doing holistic things and natural things to take care of my health.
How did you hear of colonics? First of all, I'm sorry about your losses with family members. But how did you hear of colonics? How did you even get into colonics in your 20s?
In my 20s, from the impaction, just being desperate. Of course, before I had started doing colonics, I used to do enemas all the time. That was the way I was able to get relief, is to, go to the drugstore, buy the little 2-pack of enemas, and I would use one, a week to eliminate. But of course, enemas, you're only getting a small amount in the lower bowel. And of course, you can get dependent on that. So it wasn't giving me the relief. They stopped working, the enemas. So I was just desperate to find a way to relieve my constipation. I had to have a colonoscopy, at the age of 22. And that was because I was sick. I was having a lot of back pain. I had adult acne. I just had a lot of issues going on that I didn't know where they were coming from. And the doctors were who told me that I had impaction in my colon. And it was because I wasn't using the bathroom regularly. So I was just desperate, and Google was my friend, and I ran across colonics and got, deeper into what it was. And I went and tried one and did one, and it was so relieving, and it was life-changing, life savings. And from that point on, of course I was in the military at the time. So I would just go and do colonics, when I could, which is maybe once a month. However, after I retired, this was something that I always knew that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to help the community because I knew I wasn't the only one with these issues. And I know, like I said, that this is something, doing colonics and cleaning my colon and, detoxing regularly, I know has saved my life, and is the reason why I'm here today.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. Now,
yes, ma'am.
We laughed. We laughed when I knew what impaction meant.
Right.
But for people who, because I've been using that word, like I just learned a new word in the vocabulary, and I would tell somebody, you impacted. But for people who may not know what you're saying, I know you're about to get into this as you talk about your services, but explain impaction.
Yes. So impaction, when we refer to that, as far as talking about, the colon and digestion and the large intestine, and that's the organ that we're talking about, which, is responsible for relieving the waste, is the large intestine. So it can get impacted. And the number one reason why it can be impacted is if you're not pooping regularly, at least, daily. If you're eating, 3 meals a day, then you should be pooping 3 times a day. If you're eating 2 meals a day, then you should at least be pooping twice a day. So if you're not eliminating after each full meal, then you probably have some impaction. And also, if you're not having a complete elimination, you could, not get it all out. And so some foods cause that, such as dairy. A lot of people are lactose intolerant. You eat a lot of dairy. Sometimes that prevents you from eliminating properly. And so when people do go to the bathroom, they're not getting it all out because they're constipated. So you can end up with impaction. And really, the impaction is basically poop in your colon that's just sitting in there and not coming out. And then it gets really dry and it gets really hard and it stays in there and it just finds its way in a little corner and it just hides out there and it sits there for years. And then, that's a toxin, toxins in your colon, and that's responsible for inflammation, creating inflammation in your body and giving you ailments like allergies and acne and migraines and high blood pressure and any ailment most of the time, because I research Dr. Sebi a lot. I love him. And he's a well, renowned, famous herbalist and healer. And because I follow that naturopathic lifestyle, I really look to a lot of his therapies and healing. And he talks about, what mucus does to the body, what inflammation does to the body, and how if you reduce a lot of those mucus forming foods like the dairy, the red meat, that would help eliminate some of those ailments that we suffer from, because diseases start in the gut. And that's like his famous quote, diseases start in the gut. And I firmly believe that.
Yes. Yes. I hope people are taking notes because I am here for it. I love talking to you. I learned impaction and, I've had 3 colonics. So talk about each service. I want you to take your time and talk about, so you are the owner of Renew Wellness Spa, located in Germantown, and you can share specifics where that is located because I want everybody to blow you up. If you don't live in Tennessee, you need to travel to Tennessee just to go to Renew Wellness Spa. But Talk about each service you provide, and especially part explaining the colonic or the. I know we say colon hydrotherapy or colonic. I don't know if those words are used interchangeably, but
Yeah, I think, well, colon hydrotherapy is the proper term, but colonic is the short nickname that
gotcha.
refer it to, will easily refer to as colonic.
Gotcha. So talk about Renew Wellness Spa, every service you provide, and then take time to really explain the colon hydrotherapy.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, yes, I am the owner of Renew Wellness Spa, which we are located in Germantown, Tennessee. Um, our hours of operation are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. And we are a detox, wellness, and beauty spa. So we have a number of different services that we provide, and we use the holistic approach to our services. So it's not a traditional spa. We get a lot of people calling us every day wanting to book a massage. And it's like, I'm sorry, we don't do those. Uh,
Right.
so definitely a non-traditional, not what you expect from, traditional spas where you get massages. This is more of a detox, where, our clients love, and, right now with the climate and the state of, what's going on with flu and COVID and even common cold, like just detoxing and, getting all that bad stuff out of your body is going to help make room for you to absorb vitamins and minerals a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a perfect time now, especially with the change in seasons, to be detoxing or doing some type of services. So what we provide and some of those services that we provide, one of them is infrared sauna. And I think you did infrared sauna before.
Love it. You
Yeah.
sweat like crazy.
Yes, yes. So the infrared sauna is amazing. It's similar to the saunas that you are used to at the gym. I think the gyms, they have either the steam saunas or the dry sauna. And it kind of is more comparable to a dry sauna. However, it uses infrared heat instead of, the regular heat that they use. And so that infrared heat is beneficial because you get the same benefit that you would get from the sun. However, you don't get the damage from the rays, but
Yeah.
you get the benefits such as the vitamin D that you would make if you sat in the sun. Most people go out at least 15 minutes to get some sunlight. Well, if you sit in the infrared sauna for 30 minutes, you have 30 minutes of vitamin D that you just got and made. In addition to that, the infrared heat is going to penetrate your skin up to 2 layers. So it's going to burn fat. So you sitting in it for 30 minutes, you're going to burn and sweat. And detox, yes, the largest organ in your body, which is your skin. So one of the 7 channels of elimination is, sweating, and it's a perfect way to do so. So we get a lot of people that love to come and sit in that sauna. It's said to burn at least 300 calories sitting in there. So easy way to burn some calories, just sitting in there listening to some music and making vitamin D and just sweating. So we love the sauna. We sell that in packages. We get some clients that come sit in it every day, and you can sit in the sauna every day. So like I said, we sell a 5-pack or a 10-pack, and we have clients come and do that every single day. And then we have another service called the detox foot bath, and people really enjoy that service, especially our men. They love to come do that. It's definitely different from a pedicure. So we're not scrubbing your feet, we're not getting the calluses off, we're not polishing your toes, but we are putting, but we are putting your feet in this ionic charged water, which what it does is it matches your body's chemistry, and what it's doing is that the solution we put in there, it actually helps pull all the toxins and metals out of your body through your feet.
Oh,
Yes. So by the time you're done with your treatment, and having your feet in that water for about 20 to 30 minutes, that water is either orange or brown or black. And the different color tells you of that water tells you what organ it detox. So if it's black, it usually detox your lungs. And those are usually for people that smoke. And so we can tell you like what you do with your lifestyle based off of the color of that water, because it's telling us what organ it detox and what it probably took out of your body. If you're asthmatic, if you have a lot of respiratory issues, it's good. So we do get a lot of clients that love the detox foot bath. So that's another good one. And it's painless. You just sit there with your feet in in some warm water. And, we have some nice sauna music, and we give you, some hot tea to drink, and we dim the lights, and we just let you hang out and get that foot detox. So in addition to the foot detox, we also do a contour body wrap. And I think you were probably asking about one of those too as well. So what we do with the detox body wrap is that's one where we're going to help you remove some of the water that's in your body. So it doesn't remove fat, but it does remove water. And a lot of the ladies like this service because it helps reduce the appearance of cellulite, especially in our legs and thighs, because that's what cellulite is. It's that water that's trapped between the muscle and the fat that gives that appearance. So we help remove that by wrapping you really tight with compression bandages. But first, before we do that, we paint your body with some herbs. So we mix bentonite clay and different herbs, and we paint your body with it. And then we wrap you really tight with compression bandages. So you look like a mummy when we're done wrapping you. But then we lay you in an infrared blanket for 45 minutes and you sweat. So we put you in an infrared blanket and you sweat for 45 minutes and detox. And by the time you get up and we unwrap you, you can see significant change in the size of your arms, your thighs, your waist. So it's a contour body wrap. We snatch you for sure. So yeah.
I'm get my appointment scheduled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And so yeah, and with the clays and the herbs that we use, your skin and your body is detoxing for up to 2 to 3 days after we've done your service. So so yeah, so it's a really good benefit. And what else do? I'm trying to save the best for last, which is the colonic. So I'm trying to think of everything. We do yoni steams, which is for the ladies. So that's doing a vaginal steam. So that's what people either know it by either a yoni or vaginal steam. And what that is where the lady, we mix herbs, customized based off of any reproductive issue that ladies might have. So when it comes to situations such as fibroids or endometriosis or really bad menstrual cramps or yeast infections or trying to conceive. So any issue that you have reproductively, we mix herbs that help support that or relieve that. We mix herbs and you sit over a pot of steam and you steam those herbs. And so that steam is kind of pretty much going into the vagina, into the uterus, and giving you some medicinal healing. And a lot of ladies love the yoni steam because they do get a lot of relief from, like I said, menstrual cramps or, chronic situations like maybe yeast infections, or they're trying to have a baby and they can't conceive. And so we have herbs that we blend together to help with that. So yonis are great. And then lastly, we do colon hydrotherapy. Oh, yes.
You do a facial.
Oh,
right?
facial. Yes, we do facials. We do organic facials. So we use nothing but organic products, no chemicals. So we don't do some of the traditional things like chemical peels, but we do an organic facial and we do an electroglow facial. The organic facial is customized just like that contour body wrap. So each client, before his or her facial, we're going to do a really quick consultation about your skin type, what your goals are. And then we're going to mix your masks, and we do 3 masks: cleansers, toners, extractions, and all of that. So we mix those masks based off of your skin type and your goals. And so that superfood facial is amazing. The ingredients are clean and pure, so pure you can eat them. And so the other facial we do is electroglow, and it's the same as the organic facial. However, they use a microcurrent tool. And what that does is it basically instantly gives you a facelift. So for the ladies with the aging, oh yeah, you can come in and get an instant facelift. And we have 2 amazing estheticians at Renew Wellness Spa, and they, bring all kind of amazing services, and the clients really, really love them. So I don't want to get all into their lane because that's what they do. But yeah, they really, really do a great job with those facials.
So let's talk about, this is awesome. Look, I got to schedule all of the appointments, Stacey. My goodness.
Yes, come see it.
And you have memberships too. So I don't know if you want
Oh,
to talk about that now or later.
yes. You want to talk about the you want to talk about the membership?
No, well, talk about the last service, and then you
The last one.
the last one.
Colon hydrotherapy is what is our number one service, and that's what we do, and that's pretty much what I do. So I'm the colon hydrotherapist. I'm a Libby device certified colon hydrotherapist, and I'm the yoni practitioner. So those are the two main things that I do there. The estheticians, they do the facials and the body wraps and the foot baths. But yeah, so colon hydrotherapy is where we clean the large intestine. It is 5.5 foot long, so it is a pretty large organ, and it can get impacted very easily. We kind of, talked about that a little bit earlier. But basically, what we do is remove all that impaction, or help remove that impaction. And how it's done is you insert a pencil-sized tube 1 inch into the rectum. So not a whole lot and not a big old speculum, because I know people, when they come to see us, they're so nervous. They don't know what to expect. And when we show them that little small tube, they're like, oh, that's it? So the tube that you insert into your rectum, it's the size of a pencil in diameter, and you insert 1 inch. And what happens is we turn on warm water, and that warm water just, travels into the colon, looking for pockets of impaction or poop, and it just loosens it up and helps you bring it out. Yeah. And a lot of people find relief when they get those colonics. I mean, their bloating goes away. That's usually one of the number one relievers that they feel, because they come in saying that their stomach is really hard and bloated, and they're not hungry, but they don't feel like they can eat. Or no, they're hungry, but they feel like they can't eat because they always feel full. So a lot of people lose a few pounds sometimes after they've done a colonic, just because of the impaction. Some people just see a better increase in their mood. They're not so irritable and moody because they've, got a lot of the toxins out of their body. So it's just a host of so many different benefits that people have given us feedback on how they felt after a colonic, that there's no one way to describe how you're going to feel. It's just, you're going to overall feel pretty good after you've gotten one.
I remember after my first one, I was energized and skipping all over the office, the clinic, like, hi, everyone, this was great. And my best friend was wiped out. She was like, let me sit down, like, you doing much.
And I remember talking to you both about it, and she said she was exhausted. She wanted to go and just take a, and usually that's how you feel after a detox. Usually all of our services, you're so relaxed and so detoxed that if you had plans to go shopping that day, usually you just skip it, go get, some soup or a smoothie, and they're home, and they say they just sleep like a baby, which is your body needs that rest to replenish, because you just did a major detox.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me do this. How often should one get a colonic?
We recommend at least once a month. However, if you're generally healthy, however, we do see a lot of clients that suffer from what I suffered from, constipation and that impaction. And usually they're coming to see us because they're desperate and they don't know what else to do, and nothing else is working. And a lot of times they're taking supplements like magnesium, or drinking some type of teas, or doing something to kind of help them, and that's not working anymore. And someone has told them about us, or they've Googled something. So for those, clients that have some constipation issues and, are not going regularly, then they should, of course, come see us a little bit more often. And we have packages that we sell. So we sell a basic cleanse package, which is a session of 3. And that's usually what we recommend people to start off with. Do a session of 3, and usually 3 is going to kind of really get that 5.5 feet cleaned. If you're generally healthy and you eliminate regularly. But if you're only eliminating once or twice a week and you have a lot of impaction, you might need to do more than 3. And usually we determine that when we're talking to you, in the room and we're going over your, your health history. We're going over your diet. We're going over your level of stress. We're going over all the factors that contribute to why you're not eliminating. And a lot of times, people can fix the problem by just, changing their diet or incorporating, some boundaries in their life where they're, decreasing their stress by taking time out for themselves and not allowing themselves to just, get run into the ground. And we identify a lot of that when I'm in the room with them for the first time. And so right there, I'm already, because I'm a natural life coach. So I'm coaching them already and they don't even know it, just about what they're eating or what they're going through. And I'm just telling them, okay, well, I recommend you start your day off with a 5-minute prayer or meditation or some yoga, to kind of set your mood for the day. It's really important and it's very helpful. So
yeah.
So it, different reasons why, or different recommended time frames, because it's not a one size fit all situation for how often you should do this. So if you're generally healthy, we say once a month, and healthy meaning you're eliminating at least a couple times a day. But if you are only eliminating a couple times a week, then we would recommend, one of those packages where you're doing, multiple sessions to kind of get it cleaned out. And then once you get it completely cleaned out, then you go start doing once a month, because we don't want you to depend on this. We want you to, be able to eliminate on your own properly.
Absolutely.
Hmm?
Talk about the memberships for a second?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. We can talk about the memberships, and I want to definitely offer something for memberships for the listeners as well. So we do offer a monthly membership. It's called the Wellness Works, and it's $49 a month. And what that $49 will get you is one colonic or one organic facial and a 30-minute session in our infrared sauna every month. So you pay that one price, which is $49 a month, which we will auto draft your, debit card or credit card every month for $49. And then you would have 30 days to come in and redeem that benefit for the month. They don't roll over. So if you don't use it, you will lose it, because the goal is to get you in once a month for your self-care maintenance. In addition to that benefit, you also receive membership pricing on all of our other services. So say you wanted to get a yoni steam that month, instead of paying $55 because you're a member, you would pay $40. So we have special membership pricing on all of our services because you're a member. And we also offer 15% discounts on all of our supplements that we sell. So very good, good savings that you get with becoming a member.
I think it's a great deal, because I remember when you talked about the membership, I was so amazed. I kept saying, wait a second, $49 membership. Okay, do you have to pay for the service when you come in, or is it just $49 that covers that? And you said,
Yeah.
no, just for, like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know there's some other places where you have to pay a membership fee
and
you have
pay for the services.
No, that membership fee gets you that. But then if you want to do additional services, then you do pay the membership price on those other services. But no, and what I wanted to offer the listeners today, if they mentioned that they heard us, on episode 86, if they did want to start a membership at Renew Wellness Spa, we will waive the membership fee, which if you did start a membership, it is a $50 membership fee that you do pay when you first start. So we will waive that fee for anybody that says that they heard us on the podcast today, because we definitely want, to get as many people healthy and feeling great. So it's not about the money. It's not about, that $50. If we can waive a fee to get you in there and coming to see us once a month to enjoy some detox, because it's really important right now to our health, then I will waive that fee to get your membership going for you.
Well, I'm gonna listen to the podcast and then call you.
Well, you're in there then, Miss Bewindi. Just let them know you heard the podcast.
Right. So I know that earlier, I know that we're making somebody smile for sure. Earlier you shared why we should get them. We should get them because if the body doesn't eliminate, if the body is not detoxing, then it's holding on to all this toxic material, which
Mm-hmm.
causes all kinds of pain. I mean, there are people who end up in a heart attack with a heart attack or with a GI, some type of GI issue, or in ICU because of those issues. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so many issues are so headaches, what was it called? Allergies,
Mm-hmm.
sinus issues, all
Mm-hmm.
issues are tied to this issue. So what happens when we don't? I guess you talked about that earlier. What happens when we don't? Is there anything additional you want to add to what happens when we're not detoxing, when we're not getting colonics? Anything additional you want to add to that question?
Well, I mean, you brought up all the perfect points. I mean, when you don't, then that's when you allow those toxins to kind of take over, and
Mhm.
no telling what type of ailments that you'll suffer from. Um, I just think a lot of people don't know. Some people are just kind of used to saying, "Oh, I've always been like this," and they don't know that there's things that they can do to get better.
Yeah.
Um, me, for example, I kind of grew as healthy as I claimed I still was only pooping once a week. And you would think I would have been going more than that. I'd stopped eating pork. I used to eat a lot of vegetables. I did eat a lot of junk food. I was young, I was a kid, so I did eat a lot of cakes and cookies and stuff, but I didn't eliminate as frequent as I should have. And a lot of it was due to the foods that I was eating. I did eat cheese and I did eat ice cream and I did eat a lot of stuff that I just didn't know that I shouldn't have been eating. And it wasn't until I educated myself on all of those things, on how to help myself. Now I poop once a day. And I thought that would never, ever happen to me. Like Stacey's going once a day. So people needed to know um, what not pooping will do to you as far as those ailments, but what you can do to help yourself is eat foods, that have natural probiotics in them,
Mhm.
fermented food, like kimchi and sauerkraut and kombucha. And, they make all those, different drinks now to help. Um, a lot of the Greek yogurts have probiotics in them. Digestive enzymes are really good to take or eat, and some of the natural digestive enzymes would be stuff like avocados and papaya and mangoes. And those digestive enzymes are very important because they help you break down the proteins and the fats and the carbs in your food.
Mhm.
So just kind of knowing what foods to avoid, what foods to increase, will just naturally help you eliminate properly, and you'll feel better. When you start to feel sluggish, when you start to feel irritable,
Mhm.
and you haven't pooped in a couple of days, go make a green smoothie.
Yep.
You feel a lot better when you get it out. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I do agree with
Mm-hmm.
that 100%. So you did kind of answer the question about what should we be aware of when it comes to our diet and how this
Mm-hmm.
affects our health. What if somebody is hesitant? Somebody's hearing you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, a colonic, a tube going up my rectum." What if somebody is still hesitant? Of course, we can't make anybody do anything, and I hope there's so many wonderful gems that we are hearing you say, because at the end of the day, we are each responsible for our health. But
Mm-hmm.
would you encourage somebody who is hesitant and they're hearing you today?
I would say, don't knock it till you try it. That's an easy phrase to say, but I've found that a lot of people are hesitant about it for the wrong reason.
Mhm.
And especially the men, they kind of relate it to sexuality sometimes. And it, becomes oh, you're not sticking nothing in my butt. But it's like, well, really, that's the only way to cleanse it properly. And honestly, it has nothing to do with that. So if some people can kind of get off that stigma, then we probably would have a lot more of our male community getting colonics. And I say that because I've actually had a couple conversations with males that have said that. We had a gentleman that didn't know what a colonic was. He just booked one. He wanted to come to the spa. So when I was back there briefing him and telling him, he was like, "What? You're going to do what? We're going to do what?" Oh no. And he just was not with it.
Oh,
So I feel like most people, if they're nervous about it, they'll do the research. They'll come in and let us know, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous, and we'll put them at ease and talk to them. But normally we find the most people that are apprehensive is the guys that have something to compare it to their sexuality. But for the most part, most people are mature enough to know that if it's beneficial for your health, then there's nothing wrong with trying it at least once.
Absolutely. And one of the things that was important to us when we were looking for this, we did not want one where the person was in there with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another way you can get a colonic where the person is not a private place. And I love your space, your clinic, because it's a private room, it's a private area. You make somebody feel very comfortable. You make people very, very at ease. Even if like you are inviting the subject of poop. Where else can we go to talk about poop? Like what else? What other clinic, what other doctor, or what other person is going to sit there and be loving and compassionate and talk to me about my poop and what's in the poop? And you even explain this means a parasite. Well, thankfully I didn't have any parasites, but I was scared to even find out. But this means mucus, and this means what was it, yeast? And you actually explain, and it sounds gross and it sounds dramatic, but y'all, it is real. We all need to poop. And not pooping means that there's a big problem in our health and with our mind, with our mental health. Everything is tied. God created the bodies to eliminate for a reason. So I really love how you make your clients or your patients feel. I love the fact that it is a private room. My best friend was able to be in one room, and I was able to be in another room. And at some point we were duoing. Video chatting, and then my stomach was cramping. I was like, "Good, I can't talk right now." But it was we really, I can't wait to come back. I love the setup that you have there, and the way that I'm really big about experiences and how people make people feel. I'm really big about customer service as well, and so those two parts are definitely embedded into Renew Wellness Spa.
Yes. Well, we try. I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't explain the differences between the two types of colonics. So when I started getting colonics, in my early 20s, I got a colonic on the closed system, which is, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I had to mute. My daughter came home and the dogs are.
It's okay. That happens. It's either a dog or a child. It's okay. It happens.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I was saying, so when I first started doing colon hydrotherapy, it was on a closed system, which that was the only system that was kind of out at that time. Yeah. And I was not in the room alone. And I did have a therapist in there, and it was not as comfortable as it is now because, taking a poop, you don't want any company. So she was a therapist and that was her job, but she was kind of controlling the scenario, saying, okay, hold, okay, now push. Now that this device that we use called the Libby, it is an open system, which does allow for the therapist not to be in the room with you because you're able to control how long you hold the water and when you want to release and push. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because we do use the closed system, which we do preserve your modesty. We definitely don't want to have you in there feeling embarrassed because you're passing a lot of gas and you're having a lot of impaction being removed. And it's, and it's, you don't want anybody in the room with you. So I'm glad that you did mention that. And in addition to it, it's odorless. So, some people are surprised too. So I do want to mention that you're not going to smell a thing. The whole process is odorless. So, yes, you're in there pooping, but, unlike the traditional toilets, it has an odorless motor in there. So you won't smell a thing. However, you are able to see what you release because we have that view tube. So you can see what comes out of you, but you won't smell it. So if that's discouraging, I hope that, that changes your mind because you won't have to smell a thing.
Absolutely. So last but not least, tell us a little bit about your holistic coaching
Oh
and
yeah.
what you offer and how
Mhm.
people can work with you.
Yes, yes. So I'm a holistic life coach, and that just kind of is one of another baby of mine. Um, and I just started, living the holistic lifestyle and just learning that, um, when you use the holistic approach, you focus on mind, body, spirit, and you nourish those simultaneously. Um, and the reason why it's near and dear to my heart is because, I wasn't always um, the best grounded person. Um, I was in the military. I spent 25 years in the military. I retired, several years ago, but I was always physically fit, physically strong, but mentally, I didn't always, react properly and do the right things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I retired from the military where I found I had some off balance things. I think the military allowed me to mask
Mhm.
things because in your military you get to yell, you get
Right.
to curse, you
Right.
get to mean, and you get to do things that now when you're not in the military you can't just be yelling at people, and you can't do that military stuff no more. Somebody go fight you. So I kind of had a big kind of come to Jesus moment with who I was and where I was with my mental health and with my stability. Very faithful. So I didn't have any issues with my spirituality, but it was mainly my emotional and mental health that wasn't the strongest or wasn't the best. So I started just focusing on, working on that, getting some counseling,
Mhm.
you know, unboxing a lot of things that had been tucked away.
Yes.
Um, so because of that, I feel like I've been, like a reborn person. And
Wow.
because of that, and anytime I have this, pivotal thing that happened in my life that just changes me for the better, I always want to share it and give it back.
Yeah.
So that's what made me want to become a holistic life coach and, put together a 10-week program where we do some work and we coach and we work on strengthening your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, because they all work hand in hand. And if you're weak in one of them and strong in the other two, you're off balance still. It doesn't matter. So, oh no. Oh, I thought we got cut off.
Over here.
So yeah, so we do offer a 10-week program. And if anybody is interested, they can contact me at Renew Wellness Spa and I can send them a life coach package. They can fill it out and we can get started. We meet once a week and we can either do that in person or virtually. And that's usually 60 minutes a week, where we get together and kind of do some work. And a lot of it is your own work. I'm your coach. I'm not, your mom. So I'm going to coach you. I'm going to, we're going to get to some stuff,
Right.
set those boundaries, because usually that's where people have the issues with. Kind of balance that wheel of life, because usually we can identify where you're off balance, and start balancing, and getting everything in order and having everything smooth. That way, you're not strong in this area and weak in this area. You're just kind of,
Mhm.
rocking everywhere. So yeah, so if you're definitely interested in holistic life coach, give me a call and we can get started
Awesome. And they can call you at
at area code 901
Mhm.
435
Mhm.
6150.
Awesome. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, I appreciate you so much, Stacey, and I can't wait to come back for my services. I can't wait. I can't wait. I really appreciate you lending, a lot, just honoring us with your presence, with your time today. So many gems in this episode, and I know that people are going to be very, very glad and happy to hear this information. Is there any last minute gem that you have that I never asked you, that I didn't ask you? Final tips, especially now people are struggling with physical ailments, emotional ailments. People are sick. People are recognizing that they their health is catching up to them. People are at risk to certain things. Some people are doing better with exercise and eating better, but also there are some people that are like, you know what, forget it. What's the point? I'm just going to eat my fries. I'm going to eat whatever I want, whatever I want. You know, I'm from the Caribbean, but I'm going to try to say ghetto, whatever I want.
Won't.
Is there any last minute, are there any last, I know you already shared a lot of gems, but is there any last minute word of encouragement or advice that you would like to share with people today?
I would just tell people to listen to your body. Don't ignore the signs. You know, if you wake up one morning and, you know, something is ailing you, okay, that's a red flag. That means, you know, something's off. You know, we don't just, you know, wake up sick. So, you know, it's something going on, and don't ignore it. You know, some people come and see us and say that stuff's been going on with them for over 10 years. And it's like, wow, you know, I'm glad that you're here to see us, but, you know, you shouldn't have waited that long, but, you know, hopefully we can kind of get you going. So don't ignore the signs. I know sometimes we're so busy taking care of other people and, you know, managing lives as parents, as spouses, as, you know, bosses and employees, that we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, this new buzzword for 2021, health is your wealth. Like, we really need to own that phrase. Yeah. Health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, you might as well be poor. Yeah. Because with COVID and flu running around, we need strong immune systems. We don't need to have a lot of stress weakening our immune systems, and we don't need to have a lot of toxins in our body, keeping us from being, you know, as healthy as we can be. So listen to your body, set boundaries with people, take time out for your self-care, meditate, pray, you know, be good to people. And I'm sure, you know, everything will be a lot better for folks if we, you know, if we just kind of operated in a positive headspace.
Sure.
Well, yes, ma'am.
Yes, well, Stacey, thank you so much. Y'all heard her. I will be back next week with another amazing episode. And Stacey, thank you again. I can't wait to share this episode with people so they can blow you up, my dear.
Yes, thank you. And lastly, if the listeners want to follow us on our social media, please follow our Instagram. Renew Spa Memphis is our Instagram handle, and we share a lot of information on the services that we provide. I put a lot of beneficial information on why colon hydrotherapy is important, why detoxing is important. So we share a lot of health tips on alternative medicine, because that's what we are, alternative health. So please follow us. And if you have any questions and you want to DM us, just DM, and I check all messages and I respond within 24 hours.
Yay. Thank you for sharing that. Definitely.
Yes.
All right. Well, I will talk to you soon, Stacey. And y'all, thank you for listening to Empower to Empower You podcast. I will be back next week with another episode. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week on purpose.